relationship with what? Death in and of itself. And it's an interesting relationship. In that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الْمَوْتَ الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ فِي الْمُلَاقِيكُمْ. That He tells you that death, what's your relationship with death? الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ. We flee from death. It's not something we want to be reminded of. فَإِنَّهُ مُلَاقِيكُمْ. There's no doubt, in the words, it be translated as what? No doubt you're going to meet death. But the interesting thing for those that have studied Arabic language is when it says mulaqikum, it's got a particular alif in there. And then that alif is known as what? The alif of duality. Which means what? Not only will you meet it, it's like you're running towards it and it's running towards you. La mafarra means there is no quote unquote escaping death. The great Imam al-Haddad quotes like this, this line of poetry. And he speaks about things that he quote unquote laments. And he says, أَلَا أَنَّنِي أَقْرَبُ أَلَا أَنَّنِي أَنْسَأَ الْمَوْتُ وَهُ أَقْرَبُ غَائِبِي. I lament the fact that I forget about death, but it's the closest thing to me from the unseen realm. Which is what Allah says, حَتَّى أَتَانَ الْيَقِينَ. That's one of the names of death in the Quran is what? Certainty. Because black, white, Muslim, non-Muslim, when you die, you're going to see a reality. When the veils are truly quote unquote lifted. Yani death that we quote unquote flee from, you're running to it. وَلَوْ كُنْتُمْ فِي بُرُوجٍ مُشَيَّدَةٍ. Even if you are quote unquote in your ivory towers, it's coming to each and every single one of us. But it's this thing that we want. It's the furthest things from our mind. And so your Lord is telling you your relationship with death is one that you're not quote unquote comfortable with it. But what does your Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say? Ya Rasulullah, man al-akyas wa man al-kayyis. O Messenger of God, who are the people of deep intelligence? Right? Who are the people of deep intelligence? Kayyis, very specific words that he uses sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. He goes, man kana akthar dhikran lil maut wa ashadduhu isti'dadan. The one who remembers death frequently. The one who remembers death frequently, but also what? The one who is best prepared for it. So on one hand you have God telling you what? Death is not something we quote unquote feel comfortable with. We flee from that reality. But that reality your Prophet is telling you what? Make sure you are people that what? أَكْثِرُوا مِنْ ذِكْرِ حَاذِمِ اللَّذَّاتِ. Profusely remember the thing which destroys all pleasures. And so from those encouragements are what? زُورُ الْقَبُورَ فَإِنَّا تُذَكِّرُكُمُ الْآخِرَةِ. Okay, Al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said what? Frequent the graves. Why? Because it reminds you of the afterlife. Our moment here, when we speak about our moment on this earth, Allah refers to it as what? Lamhat al-basar. It's just a blink of an eye. From birth to death, it's just a moment. So within that moment should be what? Replete with what? Remembering death. And remembering death, what? Liberates you from the shackles of this dunya. So that's something that we're encouraged to do. And if you're part and parcel of healthy religious communities, they will have facilitation to remind people to what? Visit graveyards. To remind us of where what? Each and every single one of us, inshallah, no doubt are going to be 6 feet under one day. Also what? Because people tend to know what? The visitation of graves or the frequenting of graveyards. Likewise, one of the most sobering experiences you will ever have is to wash a dead body. And I'd say it's a very spiritual experience. It's different to going to the grave. No doubt we're encouraged to go to the grave. And you're supposed to go there with the eye and the heart of reflection. That all of us, we're going to be in that quote unquote 6x3 one day. So it's something which again should quote unquote revive the heart. But in the faqir's experience, there's nothing more sobering than washing a person who has passed away, particularly if it's someone who's a relative or the like. And so like I said, this course is a practical demonstration, inshallah. So we're going to cover two things, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. What to do when someone, well, three things. What to do when someone passes away. How do we then wash someone who passes away? How do we shroud someone who passes away? And we're not going to do prayer because that's just a basic fiqh lesson with your Imams or whatever lessons that you attend. And so, encouragement from me to you all is that once, if you're not I'm sure that mashallah many good folk of this community have already been engaged or participated in a ghusl. As our dear Hussain said, this is an instruction manual. Okay, so just one small point to make mention of in relation to this instruction manual. An instruction manual is not a traditional book of Islamic law. So what do I mean by that? It's going to give you a step by step on how to do this. And so when the first edition went out, some people said that, oh, you know, you had said that there's a lot of conformity with, for example, the Hanafis and the Shafi'i school. But for example, the Hanafis don't. There's what's called a pre-wash, which is done with like a coarse soap. And someone said that you put that in there, but the Hanafis don't do that. What I explained to the brother was what? The Hanafis and like the Shafis, they agree upon what? Prior to washing a body, you have to remove any impediments, whether they be plasters, catheters, or dried up blood or the like. That's where you agree. The instruction to do this is just an instruction on how to do it. Okay? So it does conform to the Hanafi school, the jaw. Okay? This is, if a person comes to you, like I said, most people will come to you from the hospital. And it's, I would say in my experience, it's hit and miss. Okay? What do I mean by that? Sometimes they haven't secured the jaw. And so what happens, someone passes away on a Friday evening. You know, death isn't a 9 to 5 thing, is it? If someone passes away on a Friday evening, you need to get the death certificate, the coroner needs to sign off, the doctor cause of death and the like. The coroner won't be until Monday. So where would our dear brother, Allah give Farhan long life, inshallah, say Ameen. Where would Farhan be in this situation on Friday night till Monday? He would be where? So I can't hear you, sir.
Hospital.
But where in hospital? In the morgue?
Yeah.
Refrigeration?
Yes.
So what happens to the body? Rigor mortis, stiffness sets in. Okay? So sometimes they won't secure the jaw. I'd say 50% of the time they do. So we try to be involved with this process, where we would close the eyes of the individual, and I'll do this loosely, so you would secure the jaw, close the mouth shut. Yeah, because once rigor mortis sets in, it makes the wash a lot more challenging. Okay, and what you would do, so it says here, first close the eyes gently, secure the mouth, and then every 2 to 3 hours you should be loosening the joints. Okay, both at the elbow and likewise at the knee. This will help you a lot when you come to do what? The ghusl.